first and last name for me.
Okay, so Addy Wiley, ADDYWILEY.
All right, Addy, first and foremost, what are your feelings like when you're in the race? You're in the moment, like what's going through your head?
So I'm pretty calm and relaxed once the gun goes off. Before the race, I'm a little nervous. Once I'm in the race, I feel really relaxed. And I just usually try and think a lot about strategy, watching other girls and the moves they make, trying to listen for breaths and step patterns to see how tired a girl is or if she's about to pick up the pace or slowing down. So I feel pretty locked in and focused during a race.
Where do you learn skills like that? Obviously it probably comes from time, but like, you know, how did you develop this knowledge when it comes to running?
Yeah, so it definitely took time, but I think my coaches telling me about it, saying, hey, listen for this, or I used to have a coach in middle school that used to run with us, and he used to say, Wiley, I can tell you're right behind me, and I know not to let you pass me because I can hear how heavy your footsteps are. And so just people doing that to me helps me learn how to do it in races and stuff. So from experience and coaches pointing it out to me.
That's very, very interesting. Now, in an individual sport like running, you've obviously had some success. What do these individual accolades and awards mean to you? You know, when you don't have to share it with the team, you're doing this on your own.
I mean, it means a lot to me to know that no matter what, I can put my best foot forward and really do something to make myself proud and for me to be proud of. But I do think it has a lot to do with the team still. I mean, I train with them at practice. They help push me. When I was still the only one running, they still came out to practice and supported me. So even though I'm doing it by myself, I still feel a lot of team support. So I don't know, it's still, no matter what, even if it's just me out on the track racing, it's still about me making my team and my friends proud.
Rock on, rock on. Now, when it comes down to running, like what separates you from the pack? What makes you so good at this sport?
Oh geez. I would probably say strategizing. I feel like I usually have a pretty good strategy going into races. I know what I'm going to do ahead of time, and it almost always works out for me. I'd also say my kick at the end of races, usually as long as I'm strong-willed and can stay in it for the first couple laps, then I know that it can be my race at the end because of my strong kick.
Now, I want to ask you about something. I want to be able to tell the story fully and complete. I found something the other day, and I want to know if you're okay with talking about it. Are you okay with talking about what happened when you were 10 years old?
When what?
When you were 10 years old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, that's a really interesting part of this story. Has anyone ever talked to you about that before?
Not really. I think it goes really unnoticed. I don't know. It just, we don't talk about it a lot.
Well, why don't you tell me at first what happened?
Just to clarify, you're talking about like when I got sick and stuff, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So when I was in 4th grade, I started to get really tired all the time. I would come home from school and I'd just have constant headaches. I just wouldn't feel good, really lack of energy. That progressed to me not eating much, not being able to maintain a healthy weight. And so in about October, we started visiting doctors and trying to figure out what's wrong. Why do I always feel down? And so at first we thought it was I needed glasses. I got glasses to try and fix the headache. And then a couple months later, after some trial and error and some misdiagnosed stuff, we found out that I had a cancer tumor in front of my diaphragm and lung. So, yeah.
Now, first off, what was it called? What was the appropriate diagnosis?
So it was a type of spindle cell cancer. The real name is super hard to pronounce. It's like hyper or hypo something. I don't remember the full name because it's super long, but yeah, it's part of the spindle cell cancer family.
I gotta be honest with you, I saw the name, I tried to pronounce it myself, and I was like, nope, if anybody's gonna try and do it, it's gonna be her, because that was really bad.
My mom can pronounce it, and that's about it.
So, where was it? What did it look like? Tell me a little bit about this cancer that they found.
Yeah, so It was about the size of a tennis ball, and it was between my diaphragm and right lung. And so basically just pushing in on that lung, making it a little bit hard to breathe, really draining my energy, making it hard to eat and stuff. So at first they thought I had leukemia, and so I was on some medicine for that, which was really gross, just basically made me throw up all the time. And so about 2 months later, after a lot of CT scans, x-rays and stuff, they came back and were like, we can't believe we missed this. Addy has a tumor just attached to her. And so I went into a biopsy, and they took a small piece of it, tried to do some research, figure out, hey, what the heck is this? And they couldn't figure out what type of a tumor it was from that small surgery. So they just did a whole process to remove it in December. And so they just removed the whole thing, and it took about a month later that it went to several different labs where many people couldn't figure out what it was, and then they were like, finally settled on a cancer tumor that less than 1% of people get. So I get to be that special 1% less of people.
Wow, wow. And it's kind of funny that now you're in the less than 1% when it comes to running. Like that's pretty impressive. We'll get back to that in just a second. One last question I kind of want to have about that is just at the worst it got, the worst you were feeling, how scared were you?
I was super scared. I really didn't grasp what was going on then, but I was a 4th grader. I weighed about 40 pounds. I wasn't growing at all, and at my time, my biggest fear was like, Mom, will I be home for Christmas? Like, I kept on asking her, like, what if Santa can't find me for Christmas? And she kept on telling me, oh, Santa will deliver presents to the hospital. Like, I was too young to just fully grasp what was going on. I mean, I was really scared when they told me it would possibly be like a 3-hour surgery. Going into the surgery, I was a mess, just bawling my eyes out because I didn't know what would happen. And I was leaving my family, they were wheeling me away, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I've just been sick for so long, and I was so tired of it.
Wow. Well, you know, you go in, you come out on the other side a lot better, right?
Yeah.
What was that road to recovery like for you?
So as soon as it was removed, you could see a big change in my eating. I was actually eating every day, and I was so much more active, so much more happy. It was actually in the middle of YMCA basketball. So my mom was the coach, and I was like, Mom, can I play yet? Like, do I get to play? And because of some of the scars I had that weren't completely healed, she's like, no, you can't play yet. We don't want those to bust open. But I was ready to go the second that surgery was over. I was so excited to get back into stuff.
You know, when you have a moment like that in your life, and it could have just as easily gone a different route, does that fuel you at all to not even, let's take this out of the track world for a second, just in life, does that fuel you to live your life to the fullest when something like that could have went so wrong? Oh,
definitely, because actually my sophomore indoor track season, obviously sophomore year got canceled because of COVID, but I didn't get to run any of my indoor season because they thought they found another tumor during a checkup appointment, and I had to have another surgery for that, and it ended up not really being anything. But it's just the scare of anything could happen at any time. I never thought I'd have another tumor again, and a couple winters ago I was having surgery for what we thought was another one. And so it's really just eye-opening that you never know what's going to take place, you never know what's going to happen. So I have to take advantage of each moment in the classroom, at practice. You really can't live with fear, because I mean, if I walked around every day being scared that I'm going to have another tumor, then I wouldn't accomplish anything. I'd just be a nervous mess all the time. So you just have to keep going and face challenges as they come.
Rock on. Last one I have for you is just, you know, on the track field, how does something like that fuel you in competition?
Yeah, so sometimes I think like, oh, I was at a disadvantage because I had cancer, or I really try and put those aside, not really use those as fuel because I don't want to make excuses for myself. Instead, it's no matter what, I'm going to be the best me possible, no matter what illness or anything I face. So I just always want to beat people, no matter what I've gone through in life. Like I want to be a winner that feels good. So it's not the past that fuels me, it's the feeling of I want to feel accomplished and I want to feel good after this really sucky run is over because it hurts.
I love that. I love that. Last one I do have for you, I forgot to ask it a little earlier ago. With all these accolades, Gatorade Women's National, Indiana Runner of the Year, Nike National Champion, all these accolades, what is your favorite and why?
Oh, geez.
Or what means the most to you out of all those?
I mean, the Gatorade one is pretty big. I really like that one, especially because we got to make a donation to a non-for-profit. So I think that one's great, what Gatorade is doing to help younger athletes. Honestly, my next favorite one would probably be the second place at the Brooks Nationals, because everyone will think it's weird that second place will be my favorite. But I feel like I learned a lot from that race, and I was really nervous and not feeling my best going into that race, but I was still able to come out with a really good time. And even though I got second, it was something to be really, really proud of. So that time and that effort just really makes me proud, even if it is second, and I think I learned something from it. So yeah, second place at Nationals would probably be my next favorite.
Cool. Anything else you want to add that I didn't get to cover?
I don't think so.